Well, let's start with, so you've all written down some of these. So I will ask you to share them. And we will start from as far back as we can, which I think is probably John.
I don't know, Bill grew up in there.
Were you a part of the Pelzer church?
Not really.
All right.
I walked to the Baptist church.
Well, we'll forgive you for that.
But both sides of my family were Presbyterians. We lived in Pelzer.
So where did you go? You sat up there to
All right, so John. So let's see. Let's go through these. So you became a member in the 1960s?
Early 60s, about 62, I guess.
Okay. Who was president at the time? Do you remember?
At that time, it would have been Kennedy.
Yeah.
Because that's before November 63.
Makes sense. Popular music?
Well, nowadays it's called classic country.
Right.
And of course, about that time, that was folding into what they call the British invasion. There's lots of popular groups in England.
Sure. Yeah.
And that lasted
With a long
for
hand?
2 or 3 years, I guess.
That's when they sent the Beatles over here to beg for the.
Yeah, that's true.
So, news events.
News events.
The one that really struck me-
Nothing happened in the 60s, did it?
A little bit, yeah, just this and that.
Sorry.
I remember the one that really impressed me was the Cuban Missile Crisis, because the freight trains are running all day and all night,
Oh,
at least around here.
my bad.
63, you had the Kennedy assassination. Of course, Johnson became president. And the next one I remember only because I saw it in Life magazine was that the stock market hit 1,000. And they had a picture of Lyndon Johnson carrying a torch and was ringing up the steps of the stock market. Of course, then he expanded the Vietnam War.
Sure.
And seems like they need to have a series of Martin Luther King and Robert
Yeah, all these
Kennedy.
abstentions. The summer of 68, yeah. Nice. How about in the church? What color was the hymnal at the time?
Burgundy.
Burgundy.
Burgundy slide
It's the
red.
red one.
Oh, the
The one we refer to as the red one.
oh, that one y'all were using that one, right? Okay. Popular hymns.
Okay, In the Garden, Love Lifted Me, Church in the Wildwood, Old Rugged Cross.
Standard.
Good old fashioned, you know.
Oh, good.
Who was the pastor or preacher at the time?
Okay, that would have been, let's see, Pastor Curdy left about 61. Reverend King was there for about 2 years until he passed away. Now there was, and then I was away from the church for quite a while. The next ones I remember, Dale Harper and Dr. Faulkner, they do 6 months rotations.
Right. When did that start, do you know? Yes.
It sounded like
When we got married,
at least from 1990 forward, but it's probably 85 through.
Oh, what we did in Gregory. Because I always made that.
Who are some pillars of the church?
Well, I would have to nominate the Gosnells.
Yeah.
See when we're Gosnell. Penny and Carl Bauckham, Janet Floyd, Charlie Powers, Sarah Jane Oliver, and the fellow who used to lead the singing over there was Tommy Turner, who wasn't from the Pelzer area. He was with a band, and he was a drummer. Okay, and on the side, he was also a barber. So let's just say he found a reason to stay in Pelzer, and he stayed.
Well, there you go.
And they had a very good marriage.
Nice.
Okay, events in the church. Seemed like there was always this process of seeking a pastor, full-time pastor.
Sure, yeah.
And I'd say chronic, resistance to the Presbyterian. Some of it.
Right, we're all, so we're talking, well, no, I was gonna bring up unification was here-ish, 84?
42. Who was it going? Where was I? We were running together. We moved in 81, so probably 83, 84. 2, 3, 4, been 3 or 4 probably.
So that was even before that, so resistance to the Presbyterian.
Now, you remember, that's the way I kind of saw
Oh, yeah,
it.
sure.
That's my word.
Right, and that's,
Not necessarily what it actually was, but that's what it
Right.
seemed like.
this is completely subjective, and that's okay. It's okay. It's good to know.
Yeah, I was away from the church from about 65 till, you know, 59. I was away about 25 years.
Right.
And I brought him back.
Yeah.
Maybe if he did, I could change the nominations.
All right, which I think brings us to the Andrews, right? So we're talking early
You
70s.
know, he retired in 74, and then we came here.
Uh-huh.
And the minister here was Reverend George Wiley, who was from Louisiana. And I was parked by the old post office in the car, and this man beat on the window, and this big red bearded man was there, and he scared me to death. He was from Louisiana, and we still had our Louisiana license plate.
Oh.
So that was the attraction. And he invited us to come to the church, and we did. That was that.
Nice.
And, that was 74. I cannot remember the president was. I want to say Nixon, but that's probably not the right decade.
No, that's not.
Yeah, that's right. He won in 72.
Okay.
He was still there. Yeah.
And we had the red burgundy hymnal.
Uh-huh.
And some of the pillars in this church were Leona Parker, M. Smith, Ellen Simpson, Bill Pasco, Bill Smith, Julie Mize, and there was one elderly man, Hub Faulkner. He was very quiet, but if the doors were open, he was there. And he would stand up. He was just such an example to be there. One of the big things I remember here was the homecoming renewal that we had under Charlie and Nancy Blakely.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
When were they?
what was here? How about the- 'cause we had them, and then we have
They
probably
were
the late
pastored
80s.
in the 90s.
Early
80s and 90s.
80s and 90s, yeah.
Okay.
And she was the first woman pastor, and it was really a hard adjustment for some of our members to have a lady pastor,
Yeah, that's true.
especially Leona Parker. And she didn't believe in women elders either, but she adjusted to that. The homecoming renewal was, they had lay members come in,
Uh-huh.
and they stayed at various houses, and we were privileged to have one couple come and stay with us, and our children were still little, and they were just grandparents, our children were there. We just gave them a key so they could come in and go as they would, and we had twin beds, and he walked in, and man said, "Thank God, twin beds." That's what he said when he saw so I'm glad we had twin beds. But they,
Wait. Was this a married couple?
yeah,
And they were,
they had twin beds. They're an older couple, though, I think that's probably.
oh, okay, maybe those.
Yeah. But
Do you remember around when the homecoming renewal was?
that had to be when Charlie and Nancy were here about 10 years, so about the middle there, so maybe 70, 80, 81, 82. I'm not sure the time. It's numbers, there's math, and that's not me. And the other thing I remember is we had visiting ministers from Ghana, from Dunkirk, and of course they were black when Charlie and Nancy were here, and they wanted to stay in people's homes, and she did not know who would accept a black person, so we got to host Reverend Addie, and then the second minister that came, we got to host the executor from Ghana.
Oh, wow.
And I had Charlie come for breakfast the next time, and then the next time we had Nancy come for breakfast. And I figured coffee, but no, I learned they like tea because it's British.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So he said, "Do you have tea?" So I had a tea bag, so I had tea for him. And that was a wonderful experience. to have them in our home.
Do you remember around when that was?
That was during that reunion, so that had
Oh,
to be
okay,
in the eighties
okay.
too.
I thought, I was hearing that it was a separate
Yeah.
thing, but, okay.
But there were two different visits, actually. And, she was looking at Julie Mize because she had a house with a home and she said, no, we can't have a black man with a single leg. So we volunteered and
And
it
the
was a
bill was-
wonderful experience.
Oh, sure. Right, because part of it was the people themselves, and part of it's the perception and all.
Yeah. I think Elvis Presley was singing when, you know, love me tender.
Right.
I think he was. Yeah. But that's what I remember. Anything else you want to add?
That's right.
Right.
The other important thing about the church is, it wasn't always here.
Right.
This church was moved from
When
the
the
space
subway-
the back of the subway is. It was moved up to here.
It faced the back of the store over here,
Faced the back
and
of
they
the
turned
store.
it.
They turned it and moved it.
Do you know when that was, when that happened around about?
That happened in the world. I'm not sure when it
No,
was.
Ed Paston, he told me about it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't on this like that?
It was up by the subway.
Oh,
I know that.
That's what it
And
was.
then it was facing the businesses over here, and so they turned, so the pillars were facing, what's it, here?
Probably lived there used to.
And that is really.
Did it ever have a steeple?
Of course, see that-
No, I don't think this part, just the way it is right now.
this foot probably wasn't part of it then, you know. It was just the front.
Oh, sorry.
And all this stuff is built later.
Right.
And the organ in the Pelzer church
Yeah.
moved from the back to the front during one of the world wars. Do you remember which one?
Well, frankly, no.
Right, yeah. No, but I know more about the history than I
I'm
do.
gonna just look at it. You could take the thing apart.
So it had to be behind where the pews are, and they had probably some pews.
It was there between, there were the two doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sitting there
remember,
right there.
I remember when they moved it.
And it used to be, there was a fella, there was this big leaf. And he was the guy that sat back there and kept pumping that fella.
Yeah.
And then there was one warm summer day, he fell asleep. And so there was that. Now we're saying number 431.
These are wonderful stories.
All right, who's next?
Who's gonna write this book?
I don't know. All right, so we got up to the 90s-ish.
That would be me.
Okay, all right.
I came,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that makes sense.
we got married in September of 1990, and, for a while we were going back and forth between Pelzer and Lincoln. And, we were going to Pelzer Church a lot. And then when they decided to make John a deacon, I decided it was time for me to move my membership.
Sure.
So I became a Presbyterian. Bush Senior was president. One thing I remember about the music, we had just gotten married, and one of the popular songs then was Unforgettable. Shirley and Cohen are following. The news event that stuck out in my mind is the Gulf War, the first Gulf War,
Right.
the one that ended.
Yeah.
Caught up with him was the Red Bugger.
What I remember most about the pastor, Mr. Riddle was the pastor here.
When was that?
He was, gosh, yeah.
He was a World War II veteran, and he went into Normandy on gliders, and his glider crashed, and he survived. And when he went back for the D-Day celebrations, they had him listed as dead.
Yeah.
On the Dutch thing. He was one of his- I'm Preacher Riddle, and he was with General Wainwright, is that who I was saying? And the troops had parachuted in, and a lot of them died because of the hedgerows. And the burial ones were still out at sea. They could not get them in to bury these men. So Mr. Riddle was with Strom Thurmond, and he said, Strom said, preacher, we gotta bury these men. So he got 50 Frenchmen to come in and bury those soldiers and mark the graves, and then they got them later on and buried them in a different place.
Wow.
That's a really contribution, I think.
Go ahead, Judy.
The pastor, at the time, Dale Harper and Henry Faulkner, which I thought was very strange.
Right.
I thought about the strange numbers. The pillars of the church were Willard Jesse, Darnett, Charlie Power, Sarah Jane Oliver, who was the first woman, what was it? Of that church, and Penny and Carl Bonkum. The events, when I first came here, it was a pretty active church. There were a lot of people, and everybody sort of died and dwindled. But after Willard, what am I thinking about? Newman Faulkner, after he retired, there was this constant search for a full-time pastor because there had been a couple who died and left a huge amount of money to the church for that specific purpose. And of course, they started the search, and we went through three.
Do you
We had a lot of
remember?
interims in between.
Yeah.
But there was always constant turmoil in the sessions. It was like knockdown, drag out, insulting fights there. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of unrest during the late 90s, I'd say. Yeah.
I remember one call, there's one meeting, they used to call me off home. She said, there's too much going on. You come home, don't even get involved.
They did.
That's right.
But we had
Oh,
a
boy.
series of interims, and they could only stay like a year or so.
Right.
Something like that.
And Mr. Riddle was doing interim, but he didn't take any pay for all those years, so he could, continues to be here, 10 years he was with us.
Oh, wow. You don't remember when?
Yeah.
Who was that?
George Riddle,
George Riddle, yeah.
The 90s?
oh, early 90s, okay.
You wound up in the home, Greenwood. We invested together there.
And of course, we had the Sunshine Club here for 25 years, for the elderly in the community. And that started with Charlie Nancy. M. Smith was here every time. Every time. And Cornelia Bowen next door, well, I called her half Presbyterian.
Right,
If
yeah.
you left the light on in the church, she was gonna call one of the elders, you left the light on in the church. And she would come and she'd bring food for the Sunshine Club too.
I was out here painting the fence, and she came over. I'm 92. My husband ran a grocery store. Well, I'm just out here, I'm painting the fence. I think they love you.
Maybe.
Which.
Keep going, you two. Kathy, John, Judy, keep going. It's interesting.
When did you start
For what?
in this church?
Oh, just 2010. I ain't got nothing.
Okay, so you're in the same kind of range as the
Yeah.
Dosses as well. So 2010-ish. Who's president at the time? Oh, yeah. Wow, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
Popular music?
Neither one of us came up with anything on that.
Terrible music. Terrible music. News events. Anything stick out?
Real estate economy.
Oh, yeah.
healthcare bill.
And y'all got here right before the housing thing or
Well-
after?
It hit up north first.
Oh, okay.
And it's very unusual because of all the government that it would hit up there. I mean, it never had before. But boy, did it hit hard. And then we got here And the house that we had bought
Yeah.
was not finished.
Yeah.
And they were not going to finish it.
Oh,
So we could have it as it was or move
Not
on.
at all, yeah.
yeah,
And
which
we
one did
moved
you
on.
move to?
Oh, wait.
Oh, eight, yeah, that's exactly. That's when it began.
So I went and got an attorney and said, well, you want to give them money back. And we
Yeah.
tried to do
So what was the color of the hymnal? It's still red.
it. Red, market red.
Do you remember when did the Pelzer Church switch to
It was
blue?
probably in the late 90s.
Into the Pelzer Church, what?
Switch to the blue hymnal. They switched to the blue hymnal at some point.
I would say late nineties, it was one of those things where there was much discussion, as in rancorous, and,
But the church didn't buy it, and everybody could buy a hymn on memory of somebody.
Well, here, when they were changing, we just voted to keep the red one.
Yeah.
We probably got the last publication they ever printed of the red one here.
the ones we had were wearing out, so it was.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was probably not long after it came out. I think it- Anyway, sorry. Cut you off.
What?
Some popular hymns.
News events, you was telling, part of the news event.
John went right down the list of the old rugged cross. I remember that from the kid. But the current events, I remember the healthcare bill, General Motors was going broke. We had all the junk cars pulled off the roads around here, and they had a orange X on a lot down here on Williamston Boulevard. If they had an X on, that meant they got crushed.
Oh, wow.
All the junk that was around here went off the road. And it wasn't very noticeable. To me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we, that first year here, we started up the food bank.
Oh, okay. So that was 2008?
Yeah. Summer of 2008 we started.
Okay.
I met John at a car show.
That's right. When did John start?
He was a,
He was already
He started
here.
it.
he was an interim at Pelzer.
Yeah, I've been there for a couple of years.
Then he finished school, and then
Right.
he came back as a yoke.
When did the yoke start?
That was probably a condition of the work.
2004 maybe, or something like that.
2004, sounds right.
Okay. What'd you say, Betty? What'd you say? I thought John was here for about 6 years.
He was, I think so.
Yeah, that's,
Well, he tried to combine the churches,
right.
and we had a vote, and
We wanted 80%.
85%.
Yeah, 85.
85.
And I remember, forget, Truett Casey had his whole family here, I think, everybody that knows. And, of course, the thing later failed.
Do you remember when that one was? That's important.
I got the letter at home, but I don't remember the exact date.
It took too long before he left.
8 or 9.
That's it. When did I get?
There were a lot of extra people in the congregation that morning for that vote.
Yeah, church back.
We only have to vote every Sunday.
So I got here in 2012. Was it 20?
And having them on meeting. Right.
Yeah. I don't think they
So
even tried to count.
probably 2010, 2011, somewhere in there.
And people stand out in my mind were Charlie and Betty, Bill and Kathy, Pasco's, Ed Pasco and his, I can't remember her name, M. Smith, of course. and Jim and Shirley, Louise Ware, Lynn, Eric, and Barry. I can't remember. I can visualize just about everybody's face.
That's a wonderful thing to be able to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to add Jane and Charles Sailors to that list too,
Sure.
because they headed that Sunshine Club.
Oh, absolutely.
I couldn't remember his last name. But he used to go to lunch with John all the time.
Yep.
I'd run into him in Amsterdam. And then I got into the elder business. And there were quite a few repairs that needed to be made to the church. We repaired the floor. I was sitting on that end until I thought I was going through the floor.
All right.
And
I
passed
bet
it.
he was.
So we got that straight. We had water here in the basement all the time. And found a hole over here and to fix that. Put in a new sewage line and some concrete.
I remember, I seem to remember one of the floods, there was an actual root growing into the cover.
Yeah.
I remember one time, when I was on the board of deacons, and a guy came and complained to me about one of the trees over there on the lot of the house. He said, it needs to come down. Okay. So it came down, all right, I gotta take it down. But it cost me $700 to get the awning fixed. It fell all the way
Oh,
over.
no.
Yeah. I had paid $700 to get that awning fixed. Good gosh, I didn't charge the church for it, so they owed it.
Good intention.
Go on.
Somehow got on the pastor nominating committee that worked on you, of course.
Yeah, we should go.
And one of the people that we interviewed, I'll never forget this, his wife answered all the questions. And
I remember that.
funny, she said, you won't believe it, where we live in Kentucky now is 25 miles to the nearest Chick-fil-A. But I just can't have this. Obviously, he was pretty weak on the food bank. And then we got into working to bring about the new church.
Right.
So, the food bank building and
Yeah.
church
Church
on
building,
the
that was
internet.
what? 15? No. 14, I think. All right. Which brings us to the Harrises, one of the most recent.
You want to speak up? Dawn?
No, I've already closed my mouth.
Open it up.
It opens.
Go for it. I put the decade of 2010 was when we, but that's not right. I mean, it's not a specific year.
Not even close. What was it, 2000?
2014.
When we started coming to unfortunately actually joined in January of 15.
Yeah, I believe you
Ain't
were,
no longer. Or
Yeah.
16.
116.
14.
I-
Wasn't 14 because we didn't move it until December 14. So it was really
I seem to remember y'all,
came in the summer of 15.
Yeah.
Didn't
'Cause I-
go until January of 16.
I'm pretty sure you were one of the, if not the first new members of Faith Presbyterian. That was not just.
History.
Because Obama was president. Music, my granddaughter thankfully gave me Can't Stop the Feeling, but I don't even know what that is. Unfortunately, the news was full of trauma Orlando, Sacramento, Louisiana, Dallas, Mississippi, you name it. Schools, all those. Then in 2016, of course, Trump elected, and then you can hardly tell that I'm a sports fan. The next thing in 15 and 16 there, it's Cubs win, Cubs win. And Bama wins 3 out of 5. Clemson wins 1 out of 34. But also in South Carolina, news was Coastal Carolina wins national NCAA baseball, Clemson wins football, and the USC women win basketball, all within a 10-month period. Hymnal, blue, purple, and purple meaning the new, or now that's not purple. What is that? That's blue. What color is it? Yeah, it is purple.
You use the green
Mine
one
is
sometimes.
crimson, the newest one.
Yeah.
The glory to
Use the
God.
green one
We sing
sometimes,
that.
too, don't you?
And of course, from the time I first went to a church till right now, still holy, holy, holy. We, church I was in Mobile sang that as the opening procession for the choir every single Sunday.
Oh, wow.
And then the song I can't ever get on my mind, soon and very soon, gonna meet the King. And that's the one Rose cheers for when we sing that one, right?
What about standing on the promises? Have we had standing on the promises since we?
Yeah,
It's got jive to it. It's
yeah, it
good.
does. It
If
makes you.
If
It
it
makes
don't
you
have
jump.
jive, it sucks.
Some fellow named Aaron was the minister. And then went down this road, who else? Dave, Jim, M, John, Judy, Lynn, pillars in the church for sure. And then I started writing the ladies around the time, so then I wrote down all the good cooks. We gotta think about pillars of a Presbyterian church, it's always around.
That's right.
We do that. You know, and again, the last events in the life of the church are great. Food bank, Wednesday night, Sunday school. You always wonder when you move from a church or you do like that, and you just, like Joel and I both feel, it always is a calling. And we said, well, what's going to be like? Because I was in a church of 1,300 members all my life, and then, we went a smaller church in Greenville, and, when I say small, I'm talking only 450 or 500 members. And then the 2 years we were in Highlands was what, probably 400 in the summertime and 110 in the wintertime, because that's the transient population.
Also, that's the Presbyterian church?
Uh,
That's the Presbyterian.
And then John Knox, which of course was again another large church, and we kept them. But we just got very strong when we came here. We didn't need to continue to drive back and forth. It'd be involved with we moved through, and you can't think, gosh, we sit around here on Wednesday nights, and that comes to my mind almost every Wednesday night we sit here. The Bible study and the way y'all, everybody gets along, and we conscientiously study the Bible, and that's
Russell and I have always joined the church where we felt like we were needed.
You sure needed it.
We would look at lots of different churches, I'd say they don't need us. They don't need us, let's move on. They're doing well. And that's
Well,
part of.
since we're doing so terribly.
no, we actually tried, when we came back from Highlands to Greenville, we actually, sat down with George Wilkes, who was
Yeah.
the president at the time, and said, okay, what's going on? And that's when I was planning, I called the church, it's the one.
Right,
in,
Big Point.
The one in Simpson,
Yeah.
well, not Simpson, it's a church lab, but that area.
We met in the Brazier campus.
We met in the Brazier, the Greenville Tech Brazier campus.
Yeah.
And that was about a year and a half, and we enjoyed it. That was the first time I.
That was a
been-
smaller church than y'all, for sure.
Yeah, it's a new church.
It never actually became a church. You have to have 100 in order to plant the church, and we had commitments from people up to what, like 50 or 60 or so. That was a husband and wife ministers.
Yeah.
And, great folks.
But it hit about the same time as the housing thing. And
Yeah,
it hit about the
exactly.
same time as the housing market
Right.
crashed. And it was all based on, there was that huge development that was just showing up. And they said,
right.
hey, this is a great place to do a church. And then nobody moved into those houses. And
That's right. They were all, that's right, a lot of vacant, and ones, like you said, about halfway.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing.
But a couple people have said to me, and this was not at all what we were thinking, but when we changed the name to Faith, there were several people from the Presbyterian who came up and said, how wonderful that you are Faith Presbyterian Church, as almost a, not quite continuation, but because it was kind of very fresh on the mind of the Presbyterian, that Faith Point was
Right.
sort of that stillborn church, and we got to now as Faith Presbyterian with this
Right.
this new thing that was different and yet kind of doing well. And
That's
so,
right.
I wrote down as an event, the Seder meals.
Seder meals, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the things that came to my mind. And also Christmas, and how we have the ornaments, for Christmas.
It's been going on since 205.
Is that right? Well, that's very memorable.
And we used to have a live tree that Joe Brandt would cut off of his land. And then they got so big that we started to buy a big one, and they were so big. So we were given permission to go buy an artificial one. And that's been, yeah.
It's still heavy, but you know, but it's
And then the tree would be small enough that Joe had, we put it on top of the pews where the piano is now, so it'd be high.
Well, as we-
What a great idea to do this.
so as we, you know, please continue to share these stories. Fill in, put information as you think of stuff. We can put it in, or over the summer. Or, Sunday is Pentecost Sunday, which is Faith Presbyterian's 2nd anniversary, and so it's kind of a good time to reflect on this. But continue to this is our shared history. Right? Whether you were on the blue line, it doesn't matter. This is part of our shared history. You have a question or comment?
Church on the internet.
Church on the YouTube.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
right.
wow.
That was 2016.
That's a great thing.
All right. And I also asked you to think about, right? I put several dots here. Clearly not the end. We just finished a Bible study on open doors. What are those open doors that God has for Faith Presbyterian Church in the next several years? What are after us, or maybe us, in 10 years, in 20 years, when we look back, what are we going to say about this time? God is not done with us. We have a rich, wonderful history. We are surrounded by this great cloud of witnesses, so let us throw off all the sin that entangles and the things that slow us down, and run with perseverance the race that is set out before us, with our eye on Jesus Christ, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. Let us pray. Lord God, thank you for the history of your church here in this place. Thank you for those faithful men and women who have gone before us and shared their faith with us. Thank you for those pillars that remain with us. Thank you that you have called us to be pillars. Lord God, thank you for this congregation that you have knit together from 2 congregations. Thank you for the future that you are calling us to. We praise you and we thank you for all that you have done in and through us. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
We need to invite everybody in the congregation to come down.